Good afternoon. I'm Levy Armwood, pastor of the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church. It is the tradition of the Baptist Church, certainly this church, that whenever we assemble, we begin our assembly in prayer. Amen. Would you bow your heads? Holy God, we thank you for another day, one that when we woke up this morning we didn't expect to see. But because of your grace, your faith, your mercy, and your goodness, you've allowed us to enter into another day of joy and happiness. We thank you, Lord, for these your servants who've come out today to launch this event called Jackson Ward Festival. We thank you for the work of their hands and for what we shall succeed to do this day. Come into our midst and bless us with your presence. In Jesus' name we ask it all, and amen. Amen. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Greetings to Mrs. McAuliffe, our First Lady of the Commonwealth, and to Mayor Jones, and all of you wonderful people. Welcome to the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church. This year we're celebrating 158 years of worshiping God and ministering to this community known as Jackson Ward. And this church was organized before the Civil War. So it is right and good that you are here in Mother Ebenezer. So welcome here today as we proceed with the plans to launch this great event that's coming up in the month of May. You have my blessings and my welcome to you and to all who are still coming to be a part of this activity this afternoon. Having said that, I'll move on to the next person, and that would be Councilman Samuels.
Well, welcome. I'm honored to be part of such an amazing event, such an incredible opportunity to showcase one of my favorite neighborhoods within the district and within the city, Jackson Ward. I want to thank those who are in attendance, First Lady Dorothy McAuliffe, the Mayor of our great city, Dwight Jones. I want to thank Marilyn West for being here. I know LeVar Stoney is over in the corner there, and I also want to recognize Reverend Levy Armwood of Ebenezer Baptist Church and the church's many years of service to our neighborhood. There's a couple of other folks I'd like to make sure we mention. I came up through the neighborhood associations and believe it's important to listen to each of our constituents. And the neighborhood associations are such a backbone of advocacy for each neighborhood. They're on the streets. They know what their neighborhood needs. And this church services more than one neighborhood, more than one city. But I want to recognize Charlene Baylor from Carver Area Civic Improvement League and Jack Marshall from the historic Jackson Ward Association for their years of dedication to their neighborhoods and making our city great one neighborhood at a time. I also want to note that Kim Gray, my partner in crime at the city, are here, my co-representative for the 2nd District on the school board. It's a pleasure to see you, and thank you for supporting this incredible event. You know, the historic Jackson Ward, this area is so vital, so full of history, the Harlem of the South. It was, throughout the years, we've noticed its ironwork, seconded only by New Orleans, and recently we've seen a real resurgence here. It's a renaissance in Jackson Ward, and I think it's appropriate that this festival will showcase all that is good and right with Jackson Ward by showing the remarkable variety of talent and artisticness that we have over the 3 days of this festival. I'm excited that we're able to use such an event to help support local charities like the Black History Museum, the Cultural Center of Virginia, the Carver Elementary School, which is the only one of 2 elementary schools in the 2nd District, and the Friends Association for Children. I want to thank the Richmond Symphony for all the work that they have done to ensure that this is an amenity that isn't just for this 3-day program, but is something that will be able to travel throughout the region, bringing joy and fellowship to so many as we go along our way. The big tent is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. And the fact that it's going to be able to be used throughout our region is exciting. It's state of the art. It is the Sydney Opera House for Richmond on wheels. And I'm just so excited to now introduce Stephen Smith, music director of the Richmond Symphony, to make the official announcement. Stephen?
Thank you. That's the first time I've actually heard it referred to as the Sydney Opera House of Richmond. I like this metaphor. We are, of course, very excited about the Big Tent, and I'm delighted to be here today to represent the Symphony. I want to thank the First Lady, the Mayor, all of our wonderful representatives, and our host, of course, Dr. Armwood. It is an extraordinary moment for the Symphony. We firmly believe in the power of music to unite us all. And our big tent is more than just a big performance space. It's a metaphor that implies everything that metaphor might suggest, that music does have this power. And to be launching these first 2 festivals, of which this will be the second next May, is an extraordinarily exciting event as we move forward. This will, of course, be the Celebrate Jackson Ward, past, present, and future festival that will be held on the weekend of May 20th to 22nd, Friday to Sunday, right across the street in Abner Clay Park, comprising a wide variety of performances, not only by the Symphony, but also by many, many other performing groups that represent Jackson Ward and the entire city. There will be storytelling, there will be dance groups, there will be almost anything you could possibly imagine, food trucks, entertainment, and the opportunity for community fellowship for all of our families and friends. Proceeds from this festival will benefit 3 partners quite specifically. One is the Black History Museum and Cultural Center, soon to be open across the street this way. And of course, I want to recognize Marilyn West as board chair of the Black History Museum. The Friends Association for Children, I want to recognize David Young as well, a stellar organization. And also it will support Carver Elementary School. And I want to thank Kim Gray for representing the school here today as well. Also, we're very delighted that Art 180, also represented by your contingent, as well as Executive Director Marlene Paul, will be kicking off the festival on Friday evening with their Really Big Show. That's really the name of it, the Really Big Show, which is, as many of you know, a festival that celebrates artwork presented by young people and having an opportunity for them to illustrate how important art is in their lives and in our community. And I also just want to say a word about the symphony performance. We are very proud to be sharing the stage with 3 groups in particular that have been important relationships for us specifically and for the community as well. And those will be performances to include our guests from Virginia Rep, and you are wonderful to see all of you here today as well. The Richmond Jazz Society and the Legba Folklore Center and Society. They will be crucial members of this performance. We're constructing a performance that will also include a community-wide chorus, and as such, this will be a performance that sets out to quite explicitly talk about and demonstrate Jackson Ward past, present, and future, to draw on long-time traditions that have helped to build this community, of course, extraordinary musical history. I think about the incredibly long list of great artists who've appeared at the Hippodrome over all these years, and looking into the future as we build this program. So it will be an exciting capstone of an entire weekend of exciting events. I'd like to thank the city particularly for their support of these festivals and especially I want to thank the Department of Parks and Recreation, who have provided unbelievable support and logistic help in making these festivals happen. And with that, it is my great pleasure now to introduce our mayor, Dwight C. Jones.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. That's really bad. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Glad to see everybody here today. This is a wonderful day, a wonderful announcement. And Dr. Armwood, thank you for allowing us to get in out of the cold and coming into Mother Ebenezer. Is that the new name of this church? Mother Ebenezer Baptist Church. Okay, all right. It's good to be here and good to be with you. And you never have to apologize for praying. You can pray for me anytime. It's just wonderful to be in this wonderful historic church. To our First Lady, Dorothy McAuliffe, we were together last night, and we're together again today. Thank you for the support you give throughout this community to all of our community events. When David Fisk came and told me about the Big Tent idea, we were sitting around our conference table, and I have to tell you that I did not grasp the enormity of the vision when he talked to me about it. But when we gathered for the UCI World Championships on Brown Island and had thousands of people there and the orchestra, the symphony, along with the choral group performed that night. I want you to know that it was heavenly. I'm in church, so we can talk about heaven. It was absolutely an out-of-body experience. And so it's important for us to be able to move the Big Tent just not on Browns Island, but it needs to be all over the city. And that's the vision, to move it from place to place. We were in Chimborazo a couple of weeks ago announcing that we were going to have an event there, and now we're in Jackson Ward. And so most of what needs to be said has been said in terms of the particulars, but I think that one thing has been missed, and that is that it's free. That's the operative word. It's free. And for children who are in this community, what a wonderful cultural experience and exposure will be provided to them that will transport them from their neighborhood to have an experience that will allow them to feel the culture of the entire world and to be able to be transported there from Abner Clay Park. And I think that this is a wonderful opportunity for our young people to have that kind of exposure. And so kudos to the symphony, which is the greatest symphony in the United States of America. And we know that we are going to be lifted by not only the symphony, but Alegba and by the jazz group and by the Virginia Rep, who will be a part of this as well. I understand churches are going to be performing as well. So this is going to be an amazing, amazing cultural experience for families and for young people and for neighborhoods. And what a delight it is for the city to have an opportunity to participate in such a monumental program. And we have announced Chimborazo and Jackson Ward, so what's next?
We're working on it.
You're working on it? All right, so we got, what, 2 more corners to get. We've been to 2 corners, so we got 2 more corners to get, but we'll get this thing all over the city. And I really believe that at the end of the day, we'll look back on this and say that this was one of the major cultural movements that we've been able to author. Thank you so much. Am I supposed to introduce him? And now I want to introduce our amazing First Lady, Dorothy McAuliffe.
Well, again, good afternoon, everyone, and I do want to thank the Reverend as well. It's wonderful to be here in this historic church, and you all have been just the foundational piece of this neighborhood, and so it's very fitting that we are here within your walls today, celebrating the opportunity to bring down walls, as it were, if there were walls around the idea that the culture and the preservation of this neighborhood in the future generations of our children, and preserving that while also kind of informing their futures and having them, as the mayor says, kind of transport into the world of music and the arts and all that goes with that. It's really, we thank you all for your leadership in doing this for our children of the city and for all of us, children of all ages, to be able to enjoy. truly, I'm here to speak on behalf of myself, but also my husband. It has been one of the greatest pleasures of his role that we are residents of this great city. And we have the opportunity to revisit the amazing history of Richmond as residents, and also the resurgence and the energy and the excitement of the diversity that is here and the way it is coming alive at this moment, I think, all across the city. And that really is, we do embrace all that is happening in our neighborhoods, and so it's really exciting to be able to see this coming alive, to celebrate that big tent. The first time it rolled out, that was quite a day, Mayor, and my husband and I both commend you for your leadership on the bike race and that opening ceremony, and seeing the children that mountain bike on that team from the projects. They live in the projects and they're on this wonderful mountain bike team. Seeing them coming in with the cyclists and kind of that Olympic feeling, it really was such a moment in terms of Richmond being on the world stage, and very fitting that the big tent was its first moment, and we're excited to see it coming out again, and we look forward to participating with our children and being there for you all in every way as this exciting festival comes to light for the first time. And it's too bad we have to wait till May. But it's very exciting. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of the day today, and I commend all of the partners here, all the community partners who will benefit and also contribute to what's going to be a really amazing couple of days in Jackson Ward. So thanks for the opportunity to say hello and to be a part of this, and congratulations to all.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. This is wonderful, phenomenal. But anyway, I'm glad to be here, and thank you so much, First Lady, for being here with us, and the Honorable Dwight C. Jones, and Councilman Samuels, and of course our Dr. Armwood. We love all of you, and we're very gracious for everything that you've done, and we thank so many people for being here today, and I'd like to recognize Tasha Chambers, who is the museum director for the Black History Museum. Dr. Armwood, as you all know, has been a constant voice in our community, and he's done a lot of great things, and because I'm his next-door neighbor, I want to say all good things to him. As chair of the Black History Museum, I am actually, and on behalf of the board and the staff, I'm delighted that we have the opportunity to participate in this occasion. Certainly for more than 50 years, the Richmond Symphony has united and entertained people through live music, and all of us have been beneficiaries of all the good things that they have done. People of all different backgrounds will be afforded the opportunity to experience the sounds of the symphony right here in Abner Clay Park under the big tent. So while our mediums may be different, both the Symphony and the Black History Museum are compelled to inspire and unify. That's exactly what art is supposed to do. For more than 34 years, the Black History Museum has called Jackson Ward its home and has provided its own genre of art that has challenged the larger community to learn and become inspired by the stories of the trailblazing blacks from Virginia, many of those heroes who called Jackson Ward their home. As many of you know, the Black History Museum has taken on a huge undertaking to restore the Lee Street Armory and make it the new location of the museum. So we think with all this coming together very soon is just so powerful and can be seen around the world, because today, through technology, we can be other places right here from our own city of Richmond that's led by a lot of great people. The other thing that I wanted to stress is the Black History Museum has taken a huge undertaking to restore the Lee Street Armory. That's so important, I've said it twice. I'd also like to thank To think that the museum's presence has been a catalyst for the revitalization and resurgence of art that has taken place in Jackson Ward, where at one time the arts were used as cultural expression and a means to break down racial and economic barriers. And I think that that still continues and it will continue well into the future. The Black History Museum will forever be challenged to preserve the stories that will inspire a new generation of young leaders by instilling knowledge and pride in them. And we are honored and thankful that we will be a recipient of funds raised from the Celebration Jackson Ward event that will help us increase the impact our arts and community programming. I hope that the community seizes the opportunity to take advantage of the many art forms that will be showcased by various individuals and organizations that to continue make a positive difference. It will be quite an amazing 3-day event. Again, I'd like to thank you to today's speakers for moving this city forward through creative collaboration. And at the end, I'd like to say to you, I was able to do this without my glasses. So if I stumbled in a few places, please accept my apologies.